Israel is carrying out military operations on a second neighbour now. We know that security forces are on the ground in southern Lebanon. The first time Israeli forces have been inside southern Lebanon that deep since they moved out in May 2000. Now, what these forces are trying to do is to find two soldiers who have been kidnapped early this morning, about 9 a.m. local time. Now, we know that several soldiers were also injured in this attack by Hezbollah guerrillas. Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert is holding the Lebanese government responsible, saying it is also responsible for the safekeeping of these soldiers and the safe release of these soldiers. Now, we've seen Israeli air forces strike bridges and roads, the military saying that they want to make sure that these militants cannot move this soldier around. A very similar situation to what we're seeing in Gaza, and trying to find Gilad Shalit, the 19-year-old corporal who was kidnapped by Palestinian militants just 2.5 weeks ago. So a very similar situation. We're seeing groups, ground troops on the ground in southern Lebanon, and we are seeing heavy artillery and some shelling. Miles.
You know, while this unfolds, just bring us up to date. Have we heard anything that would prove to the world that Corporal Shalit is alive?
We have been hearing from some Hamas leaders, and also from we had an email from the militants who are holding him himself. Now, they haven't given a proof of life, as we would call it, for example, a passport or an ID card or any sort of video, anything like that. But they have sent an email saying that he is alive and it is against Islam to harm him, so they will not harm him. But they are saying that they do want a prisoner swap. They want 1,000 Arab prisoners in Israeli jails to be released, and all Palestinian women and children. And this is likely to be what Hezbollah is going to want as well, in return for these two new Israeli soldiers that have been kidnapped. It is a real bargaining chip for these militants to have Israeli soldiers, and they are going to want to try and have some kind of prisoner swap so they can get something out of it. Miles.
Paula, in the past, has this bargaining chip worked?
It has worked in the past. We know in 2004, Hezbollah actually released the bodies of 3 Israeli soldiers that it had killed in the year 2000, and also one businessman who was still alive. At the time, the Israeli forces and the government said that they would not negotiate, there wouldn't be a prisoner swap, but it turned out that they actually released more than 400 Arab prisoners from Israeli jails to get the remains back of those 3 Israeli soldiers and that one businessman. So it has worked in the past. This time round, though, Ehud Olmert has been saying, the Israeli Prime Minister has been saying, he doesn't want to set a very bad precedent. He thinks that this will put more Israeli soldiers and civilians in jeopardy if this time he does carry out a prisoner swap.